Welcome, everyone, to the November 4th edition of the Signals from Mars live stream. I am Victor, and nothing like messing up the days you're interviewing someone. So, no, he is legend interview tonight. I'll be doing that on Monday, and I'll be releasing that later. So, anyway, let me welcome to the show the one, the only, Dr. Poison, Mr. Brad Dahl. How are you, Mr. Yarg Metal?
That's right. Got the Yarg hat on.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm doing well. How about you, Victor?
Outside of not reading dates correctly, I'm doing well.
Dates are confusing. Yeah, welcome to my world.
This the kind of stuff you and your wife warned me about?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You never know what day it is. You never know what time it is. You know what's amazing to me is after being over there and realizing what time it is over there right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nuts. Because I mean, it seems like it should be my time right now over there where you are, and that's not 11 p.m., right?
It's 10 p.m. We've already switched our
Oh,
clocks.
oh, okay. All right.
So
10 p.m.
there's only a 7-hour difference instead of the usual 8-hour difference. That's until Sunday, and then you guys switch.
Then we catch up. Oh, so see, I can't keep track of all that stuff. So
You can thank George W. Bush for that, who decided that the U.S. needed to change a week later. And then in the spring, the U.S. changes 2 weeks ahead of the rest of the world. So,
yeah. Well, it's still a constant fight over here whether or not we should just do away with this madness. But
yeah.
I don't know.
Jeremy is saying it is only 9 p.m. for him. He's always an hour behind, but no problem.
It's early.
Oh,
we
yeah.
Caught him eating dinner. Is he joining in?
I don't know. I sent him the link. Jeremy, you joining us, or are you going to be in the chat tonight?
Yeah. Well,
let's see what he says. As an incentive, I'm wearing a shirt that Jeremy got me. So
really, what is that?
it is Thaddeus Gonzalez, someone that I
Okay.
need to interview. That Jeremy saw him in concert, and he talked him up to come on and do an interview. He said yes, and unfortunately, I've just never reached out yet.
Oh, I was going to say, how did I miss that interview? But I guess it hasn't happened. That's why I've missed it.
So Jeremy will be on in 10 minutes.
Okay.
I will hold off on his. He had a few suggestions for some topics to discuss.
He's probably having his supper. Or,
it could be. I don't know. In the UK, I think in the UK they have early dinners like they do in the US.
Okay.
Yeah. Welcome to Antoni, Mr. Espin. It is 10 o'clock for him as well. He is in Barcelona, so we are.
Hello, Barcelona.
Oh, wow, you've been practicing your Castilian Cs.
You know, yeah, as you found out hanging out with me, my Spanish doesn't really play well in Spain.
Yeah, well, yes. My wife was none too pleased when I told the story when I got home.
She didn't like that?
So, Antoni, just to set this up, I met Brad and his wife in Bilbao. We were at the Guggenheimen. We were at the dog that is in front of the Guggenheimen. A young woman came up to me and asked if I could take her picture.
Yeah, apparently you were the less creepiest of the two of us.
I guess, or out of everyone there, because she came straight at me.
She came to you.
Yes. And Brad says to her, está bueno, está bueno. Trying to say, did he do it right? Está bien. Está bueno in Spain is he hot, basically. And she says to Brad, she says, "Como? What?" So, "Está bueno." He reiterated. He doubled down.
I
He
doubled down on that.
he
Yeah, come
triple
on,
dogged
baby.
her. And then finally she said, "Sí, sí, está bueno." And so,
See,
uh, yeah,
I'm a good wingman.
I think she was peer pressured into saying that, So, oh man. So I told my
Uh,
wife, I said, "Wouldn't you agree?" So,
she
uh,
did, didn't she?
well, she did. So,
Okay, good.
she
All
said,
right.
"You know what she said to me?"
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So there you go. So anyway, and for those that don't know, if you guys have been checking out recent episodes of the show, you'll hear this. It's, it's kind of low, isn't it?
It is low, but
Okay,
it
hold
is
on.
mostly bass and
I
drums, so
will
that's by definition low.
it is on the low end. Where's this? Okay, let me turn the volume up. Let me know if this is too loud now.
Mm, it's perfect.
All right. So if you hear that at the beginning of the podcast now, that is more or less the two people that you're seeing on screen. So that's Brad on the bass, and those drums are something that I programmed in Superior Drummer 3 with the intent of recording live drums to that someday. But it has been a paralyzingly crushing day or week, I should say, where it is ridiculous how much stuff has been going on this week. My kids are off of school, shitty weather, and you'd think, oh, we're not leaving the house, so I'd have plenty of time to do things. Nope. So eventually we'll get to that. Anyway, I did release 2 podcast episodes today. It is the October 21st edition of Signals from Mars with Ed Ferguson, and also the podcast version of my interview with Tommy from the Australian band Dead City Ruins. Now, tonight, after this show ends, we'll premiere the video version of my interview with Timmy, not to be confused with Tommy from Dead City Ruins, but Timmy Ruff from the German band The New Roses. So that will
Hmm.
be later today. And Brad, as much as they told me last week that, oh no, you can schedule that and play that interview while you're still in the studio, you can't, because until we got out of the studio, last week's interview did not play. So,
Hmm. Oh, so
hey,
how's this going to work going forward? Hey,
so essentially, what will happen is when we've wrapped up for the night, and after all the off-camera shenanigans are over, I will just schedule that interview, and it will start up 5 minutes later. So there you go. And
nice.
joining us at the same time that Jeremy is joining us is your dog. She jumped right up on the couch to say at the same time that we we turned the camera on for Jeremy. But Jeremy, how are you tonight?
Yeah, good. Thanks. How's everyone there?
Everyone is doing well. We have good audio so far, so
That's
that is a positive.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, you
I'm
sound really
right
good,
by
Jeremy.
because I'm right by the speaker tonight, so I'm back in the old position, sitting at the table right next to it. So hopefully it'll be.
Okay. So we exchanged some messages, and Brad says he's got some topics to possibly bring up, but Jeremy sent me his, So we're gonna go with Jeremy first. And by the way,
Okay.
Jeremy, did you get a look at the T-shirt or the shirt that I'm wearing?
Yeah, is that that's the Gonzalez one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks good. Looks good on you.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? The second time we're talking about my looks on the show. We need to stop this. So
So wait, before you go on. So you saw this person perform, right, Jeremy? That's
Yeah. I've got his album as well. The album's really good. It was on the Ripple Music label. I heard about him first, and then he played at a local pub near me. And there was probably a Monday night. There were two other bands on at the same time, and this guy, he gets up on the tables and it's great. But he's got some good songs, so I like his stuff.
So is it just him, or is it a band, or what?
Yeah, well, he had a backing band, but he got the band, hired the band in the UK, so they were sort of like a hired guns, and they were just a UK tour. I think a bit of feedback. I could hear myself. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm getting a bit of feedback.
you're getting feedback now, okay? Because
Yeah,
I
all of a
adjusted
sudden-
something on the audio.
Jeez, Victor.
You get? How about now? Feedback now?
No, that's fine. Yeah, that's good. Okay. But yeah, he's great live, and I'd say he's got some good songs. I really like his latest album, and he's a really friendly, really personable, very approachable. So it's good.
Where is he from?
Well, he's from the US. I've got a feeling he's from New York area. And I've got a feeling he's also he's done a bit of support act stuff, or I'm sure he's written on his blog that he's actually supported Slash on tour, which I presume he came the first act in maybe three bands or something, or he played in a small place that he'd done a bit of support stuff there. I think he's done about three, maybe 4 albums. I think three albums, and the first 2 are okay. This one is really good.
Okay. How would you classify his music?
Well, it's sort of like it's like sort of alt rock stroke heavy stuff. It's classic rock sound, but it's more sort of it's got a different sort of vibe to it, really. I can't really describe it that much. I just recommend you just have a listen to the. Check it out. There's some good songs. There's a song on there about horses. I can't remember what it's called now because I haven't actually listened to it. I'll probably go and give it a listen tomorrow now after we've had a chat about this. But there's a mixture on there. He does sort of good type ballad stuff, but he does some where he really rocks it up. His actual singing is very, very slightly off key. It's weird. No, but I don't want to put you off because once you tune into it, it's really good. But his song, really good songs.
I want to hear this. So type his name in the chat for me. Yeah, you can do that still, can't you?
Yeah.
Type his name in the chat so we can give him a shout out. So if anybody else wants to check him out, because I can't read Victor's shirt that well. Hey, look, there's Johan.
Yeah. And
¿Cómo estás, amigo?
Oh, yeah.
Hello. What are you guys talking about?
Well, I'm wearing a shirt that Jeremy sent me from a show that he went to go see. Someone by the name of Thaddeus Gonzalez, and he's on Ripple, which for the most part, I mean, their wheelhouse is stoner rock and metal and more classic rock type stuff on the heavier side. It's definitely underground stuff. And the funny thing with the Ripple, I've yet to hear a band on their label that I don't like. So that's kind of a good thing. So, and
Cool.
as,
Well, I'll check him out.
Show you a shirt, Victor. I can see. I only see this. Ah,
Yeah. It's
okay.
nice. Unfortunately, it wouldn't fit me that, I think, because I'm a bit smaller. So
yeah, Jeremy's bigger in all the right areas. His brain. All right.
There you go.
Anyway,
And I'd like to just point out that the camera does add like 20 pounds. So I can vouch for seeing Victor in real life. He's much more svelte.
yeah. Well, let's not get carried away. 3 times
You
where
won't say that about me.
about appearances.
Muy
Anyway,
guapo.
yeah. So we have welcomed Johan from Sweden on the show. Johan, now do I keep calling you the metal politician? Do I not call you the metal politician? Do I call you the metal chef? What exactly should I be calling you now?
Is this live?
Yeah, this is live, of course.
Then I have to say that we will wait a couple of days, and then I will tell you.
Well,
Still counting votes,
Johan
huh?
will continue to keep us in suspense. So
But
Yes.
I'm still a politician, absolutely a politician. But we are still waiting for the new assignments for the next 4 years. So yeah.
Okay. So let's see. So Jeremy sent me a few things to discuss tonight. First on his list is where's John Sykes? No, we did this already, Jeremy. We're still looking for John Sykes. Hey,
He's
Brad,
not
did you
here.
run into John Sykes anywhere throughout your cruise?
I think he was in France in that one port that I couldn't get off the ship because
There you go.
the French people are so efficient at running their shuttle buses. Not like Spain. Spain, top shelf. I mean, they charge you extra 10% for everything in Spain, but at least they get you where you're going.
The politicians need to make their money here in Spain. They need to make sure that, they got to keep going to the golf courses. They got to keep paying for expensive dinners. So I don't know how it is in Sweden, but here in Spain, the politicians make sure that, all their meals are covered at least. Theirs, their friends, their families, and so on and so forth.
We are poor politicians here in Sweden, so we don't make a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. Jeremy, you mentioned you listened to 3 albums. What 3 albums did you listen to?
Yeah, song album called Vulture's Paradise, Stranger Vision with the album The Blood of Creation by Iron Kingdom. So I can't say I was overly thrilled by any of those, but they were all something that I put on while I was working, and I did listen to them all. So and I think there's a lot of those sort of albums that are coming out at the moment. There's stuff out there that is brilliant. It's few and far between, and the rest is sort of it's all listenable stuff. So I'm not going to diss them. Quite good. It's a sort of heavy side sort of sounding album. It's a band from Texas. Years. I don't know if you've heard of them. You may well have. And that was okay. And I say Wasteland. That's a power metal band from Italy. I'm not sure whether you've actually might have done, but anyway, it's their second album. The first one came out last year. Metal. It's not that powerful and not that sort of epic, but it's again it's. And then the third one was this Iron Kingdom band, which is from Canada, and that had a sort of epic style metal sound to it. They've been active since 2011, and I quite like that. The singing was okay. It had, I'd say, it was quite an old style. Just Priest in there, bits of Iron Maiden, little bits of this, little bits of that. I think they had a very long 30 minutes long where they tried to go even more epic. And again, they were all to listen to, but nothing special. Nothing really hit me this week.
Yeah. This week today was kind of a weird week because I tried to listen to a bunch of things. I was kind of short on time, but what I listened to, I didn't really find anything that grabbed me. Everything was just kind of okay. I mentioned it during my Patreon podcast. I listened to Black Mirrors, which is a female duo, and it's very, very reminiscent of heavier 90s alternative rock. I listened to a little bit of the Devin Townsend, which kind of bored me, which disappointed me because I either really like Devin's stuff or I don't care for it. There's kind of no in between with me and Devin Townsend. I listened to the 96 Bitter Beings, which I'd posted a few videos on the Patreon. And the videos, I think, were the best songs on the album. I posted 3 videos. Those were cool. And about halfway through the album, I started to get bored because it felt like I'd already listened to the album already with the first half, I listened to a little bit of Lars Ulrich's kids band, the Taipei Houston, but I didn't really get to dive into it as much as I wanted to. I hope to do that this weekend. My best way of describing them is that they sound like Royal Blood, but instead of being influenced by John Bonham on the drums, it's more of a Ginger Baker type approach to the drums, where it's more like a jazz type, a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more eclectic with the playing. But I need to check more of that out. There's a few other things I didn't get to check out. I wanted to check out the Eccentrics album, which is a band that I first heard of back in the 90s. And I'm trying to think. There's another band that I've posted in Patreon. I don't remember the name right now. I suck at preparing. But members of Eccentrics are in this other band. They're in LA, like Iron Maiden-y, Judas Priest type band. But but the Eccentrics album, what I've heard off of it sounds really cool. So I really want to dig into that. Hopefully this weekend. Johan, have you been listening to anything lately? Doesn't matter if it's new. Just something you've been listening to that's really stuck with you over the last few days.
Today I had I was working alone for the first time in a long time because it's a break here in Sweden, so I was alone in the kitchen. So I listened to the new Queensryche album, new, but Digital Noise Alliance, and it's a great album. I listened from start to finish, and I started a little skipping, but it's good. Sounds like Queensryche without the really good songs. So it's good, but they missed Chris DeGarmo, of course. So it's great album, but without the hooks. That's what I have to say about it. I listened to Blessing in Disguise by Metal Church.
Okay.
A great album from the album After the Dark. It's a little, if you like Metal Church, you should listen to it. It's a good album.
Is that their latest one, Johan?
No, he's saying it's their...
no, After the Dark. It's
old
88, perhaps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a huge album, but yeah, it's good. And I was going back... I was listening to an album called Rescue You by Jolene Turner.
Okay.
That's an album that I only seen the cover when I was younger. And I never bought it, never heard it. So I listened to it today. Great AOR album. I think it's, I like Jolene Turner. Good music.
Have you heard the latest album by him? Have you heard his latest album?
No. No.
Right. That's right. It's quite.
Yeah, I've heard one
heavier.
song. Yeah.
Yeah. No, sorry. Carry on. I was just wondered if you'd heard it. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think of this whole thing where he's decided that he's gonna wear the wig for his old songs and he's not gonna wear the wig for the new songs? I mean, do let's be honest. People are there for his voice. It doesn't matter to me, and I'm not the hugest Joel Turner fan, but if I see him, I don't care if he's wearing the wig. He's trying to make the comparison that, hey, well, Kiss wears wigs and other bands wear wigs, so I'm just doing the same thing. I don't know. That doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense to me, and I get it. I applaud him for taking it off and kind of being a spokesman, for a lot of people that I've played in bands with people that wear wigs. I played drums I tried out. We showed up and the guy was wearing one wig when he greeted us at the door, and then when we went to the basement to jam, he was wearing a different wig. So he had a short wig to go to work, and he had a long blonde-haired wig when he was the singer. So I don't know.
I wish we had John Bush here to talk about this. He has worn a wig. Did he wear a wig when they did the Metallica thing?
No. He was he was completely bald.
I remember he did wear, maybe it was when they first got back together again.
No, he's been bald since Anthrax's Volume 8. So that's
no, I know he's been bald for a long time, but no, I know that they did a show where for a moment they all wore wigs. It was kind of like a throwback thing, and of course it took them off. I mean, but yeah, I don't know. It's easy for us with hair to talk about this,
But look,
but I'd like to think that if this ever decided to go somewhere, that I'd be okay with it.
Is that a wig? No.
It's a really bad wig. Yes.
Wow, Jeremy. Everyone has hair. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
If it makes you feel better, Johan, I can't grow a mustache or a beard, so
that makes me feel better.
I don't know what. Again, it's easy for me to say, but I just don't. I mean, I'd like to think if my hair fell out, I'd be okay with it, and just whatever happens, happens. But
yeah, but there must be quite a few out there now wearing hats and as well, and obviously they're going bald. They've got they're fully bald, and what the hell does it matter? You see Joe Satriani, you see who haven't got hair now, and they look as cool as fuck. They look amazing. Women with no hair. Johan looks cool. I don't even think about it. It's just ridiculous. I mean, when you think about it, there's quite a lot of our rock stars now. I've got short hair. Victor's got long hair. Was it matter? It's all about their playing. And Joel Turner, he's gone now bald. He really like. What is the point of going back to what he was before? I mean, that's just it's wearing costumes that he wore. It's he doesn't need to do it. We're just there to his new album's great. He's still singing okay. Just play the music.
I think of Elton John. Okay, Elton John wore a wig.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't want to anymore, so he got whatever operation he had done, and if he's happy with that, that's cool. But to take it off so what happens if he starts to mix his setup? Does he put it on one song, take it off for the next song? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Matthias Jabs has not embraced his baldness.
Yeah.
Well,
Neither has Klaus Mein or what's the name of the guitarist in Saxon, Jeremy, who had this bad,
Paul.
sun cap during the 80s.
Oh, Paul Quinn.
Oh
yeah, Paul Quinn.
Yeah.
Quinny.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
and there's going to be more of them, isn't there? If you think about it. Michael Schenke, when do you ever see him without his bobble hat on? Woolly hat, isn't it, that he wears it for every concert? So
what is it with that hat anyway?
And
the glasses on the top.
Yeah, Billy Gibbons is the same. He's wearing.
Yeah, what
what
does he wear?
I unfortunately got to see some of the people that Johan mentioned at the airport without their hats on, and it was one of these. Oh yeah. I've told this story a bunch of times. Yeah. We were at the airport in Paris. Scorpions show up, and when they went through security check, they had to take their hats off. So, but interesting.
The thing is, you got to remember that Klaus Mein's what 71, I suppose. He's early 70s, isn't he? I mean, so when he's in the 70s, over half of them are going to be losing their hair or going grey or whatever. The age catches up with all of us. So.
I suspect that Rudolph has probably had some type of operation or something as well, because Rudolph still looks like he's in his 40s. So he's had plenty of stuff done, I'm sure. But
as Rudolph, he looks like in his 40s, but he acts like it as well on stage. I mean,
right.
He's super fit and he's moving around, and he's probably in the same age as my dad. And I would like to see my dad run around like that. That would be fun. But yeah, so Rudolph, I think he's keeping his health very good.
Yeah, he's got to go out there and play with Mick Jagger one day. See who can run around the most. They're probably similar in age, the two of them. There's probably not too many years between them. So they both got to be in their 70s.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brad, what have you been listening to lately? Anything of note?
Yeah, I actually did listen to a full album this week.
Oh wow!
I know, pretty crazy that I had time to do that.
Oh wait, wrong one.
Yeah, I listened to Orianthi's new album.
Okay.
Rock Candy, and I really liked it. Really liked it. I thought the songs were just excellent, and that's the main reason I liked it. I think her singing is really good. Sometimes with female vocalists, of course, I guess male vocalists have the same problem too, where they just kind of sound the same, or the tone's a little bit kind of not enjoyable. But I thought I think her voice is really good, easy to listen to. She really sings and she really plays, and for considering that guitar is probably what she's most known for. The guitar playing, I mean, is there, but it's not like pushed way out there. Like this is a guitar album kind of thing. It's a song album. And I really, really enjoyed it. And the good news is she didn't cover Rebel Yell. So good job, Orianthi.
Yeah, that's the thing that stood out to me as well. Her playing is for the songs. So as good as the soloing is, it fits everything. I really think that this album is good. It's every song is different. So you've got blues on there, you've got hard rock, you've got pop rock on there. It's like an old album, but with a new feel. And I think she did really good. I think, I only have her last 3 albums. I think this album blows away the other two that she put out on Frontiers before this. So
I agree wholeheartedly. I think, I hope she gets some traction with this, and
yeah,
I'm certainly going to do my part because I think a lot of the material on there going to fit well with Yard Metal. So because it rocks, it's
cool.
just good rocking stuff. So anyway, I really enjoyed that. I started listening to A to Z. I don't know if that's how you say it, or is it A-Z?
No, it's A to Z.
That's a real problem, that name. I'm just going to throw that out there. And I really like what I've heard. I haven't heard the whole album yet, but I really, really like it. And the funny thing is, I'd forgotten who was in the band when I started listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I know there's like guys from other bands in here, and it took me a while. And I thought, God, that sounds like Ray Alder, but it doesn't sound. It sounds like him, but it's not him being Fate's Warning Ray Alder. And
right.
he really, God, that guy can sing. He's a really great singer, but his performance on this stuff is really good. But there again, the songs, I think the songs are fantastic. I thought the drumming was a little bit busy, but it worked. I mean, he somehow made it work because you're kind of like, there's a lot of there's none of this straight beat stuff.
Yeah.
But it works. And then the guitar player's kind of downplayed a bit. He comes out once in a while, but he's really good. And I like the fact that the keyboards in there are actual keyboard parts. They're part of the song. It's not just mimicking what the guitar player is doing, and that I don't like that in music where the keyboards are just kind of jammed in there, or emphasizing stuff rather than actually having a part. So, and the bass playing is great. So there you go. It's a very, very good album.
Yeah.
So those are the two things I listen to.
Ray actually lives in Spain also. So he's been living here for a while. I believe his wife or girlfriend or whatever is from Madrid. So that's where he's been living. And the drummers, Mark Zonder, who was the drummer in Fate's Warning for years, also played with Graham Bonnet and a bunch of other people as well. Yeah, it definitely doesn't sound like Fate's Warning. It's interesting because they released that, and then Jim Mateos, the guitarist, released the Kings of America album with the singer from, is it from FM that is the singer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Steve
Overland.
Come on, Jeremy.
Overland.
Steve
Yeah.
Overland. Yeah.
So it's interesting that various members of the Fates Warning family have released 2 albums within weeks of one another that sound nothing like Fates Warning, because also this is like his stab at doing something more, I don't want to say commercial, but more straight ahead rock as opposed to all the prog stuff. So that's interesting to me.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I didn't hear the other one though, the Jim Mateos one.
Okay.
What do you think of that? Have you listened
I haven't
to it?
listened to the whole thing, just the singles. I know that Mike Jones said that he listened to it and said that he enjoyed it.
Okay. What's the name of the outfit again?
Kings of America.
America?
Like America, but
Yeah,
without.
yeah. Okay. It'd be a great T-shirt.
So
Should have an eagle
Jeremy
on it.
mentioned that there are rumors for Download, and this could also play into rumors for Sweden Rock as well, because they happen around the same time. For those that don't know, when these festivals come around, bands plan their routing to play a bunch of these festivals in a row. They may play day 1 of Download, then they're at day 2 of another festival, then, so on and so forth. So, Jeremy, what have you heard so far?
Yeah, so this is good timing. The announcement next week for the Download Festival. And I think also they've added on an extra day festival as well. So I think they're going to start on a Thursday.
Oh, wow.
But I'm not, a big headliner day. But if it is, then, we're looking at 4 headliners. The first and the main one I've heard is Slipknot.
Okay.
So I think that's announced. I've heard a small rumor that Metallica may be playing. My own rumor, which I'm going to create now, is that I think possibly Def Leppard and Motley Crue have announced a few dates in the UK already. I think they've announced 4 or 5 stadium. There's one not far from me in the summer at this strange festival that I've never heard of. It's northwest of England, near Blackpool, which is a weird thing. They don't always have a lot of heavy metal on. But anyway, going back to Download, I think possibly they might be on a sort of a maybe on the Sunday. So I'm definitely going with Slipknot. I think that's sort of like a chance. I'm thinking Metallica's a 60% chance, and maybe Def Leppard and Motley Crue. So maybe one of those, or 2 of those, or even 3.
Johan, how many of those bands would you like to see at Sweden Rock?
Well, Sweden Rock has released. They expanded. So the Wednesday, who were the Sheep Day, the headline last year were Megadeth. This year, next year, will be Def Leppard and Motley Crue playing Wednesday.
There you go.
Yeah. And Thursday, as a headliner, is still open. Friday, Iron Maiden.
Wow. Okay.
And Saturday is Ghost.
Huh.
So I bought the ticket as soon as they released them, actually. Great bands, except for Motley Crue, who I have seen many times now, and very disappointing band. But Def Leppard always delivers, a perfect show, and the rest of the bands, of course. So the bands I would not rumor, but if I could take a guess, I would say as a smaller band, Arch Enemy, of course. Jeremy, you said Metallica. Why not?
Yeah.
This is the 30th anniversary of Sweden Rock, so why not Metallica on the Thursday? And if they book Metallica on the Thursday, I guess there would be a lot of smaller bands because they can't afford much more.
Right.
And that would be good because I like to see smaller bands. It's good. I mean, if you see 10,
British bands there. I mean, if they put a lot of smaller bands on, would there be a lot of bands from Sweden, or would international acts on?
Johan, you're cutting out. We can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
No, let me see. All I did was switch the camera or the angle.
Let's see if Ed talks, will it come out of Johan's mouth? Hey, Ed.
Nothing. We can't hear anything.
Hello, guys.
Yeah, we can hear Ed.
Yeah, can hear Ed.
Okay. So I was gonna ask. I guess Johan will be back in a second, but you guys are mentioning that Def Leppard and Motley Crue. I've seen tickets. I think they're playing June 24th here in Spain, in Madrid. Jeremy, seeing them with John 5, is that a selling point for you? Are you interested to see Motley Crue with John 5?
No, on the farewell tour, so I've seen them all 4 band members. I don't really want to see, I'm not desperate to see them. As Johan mentioned before, I think Def Leppard are fantastic live, using the material that I like recently, but as a live act, they're fantastic. A lot of the hits off, the 80s, 90s hits, and so it'll be a good. Definitely like to see them. Not so keen on Motley Crue. But going back to what Johan's doing as well, that would be really good to see again, because I've seen them several times and they're always good live.
As we mentioned last week with Brad and with Metal Dan, Motley Crue did not. Mick Mars was not the problem in Motley Crue. So, as good of a guitarist that John 5 is, you still
he might be the best singer in the band now.
he may be the only one actually singing live as well. But Johan, let's see if we can hear you.
Check 1 2 1 2.
Perfect.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah. As I was saying, I think I would be really happy if they booked smaller Swedish bands like Eclipse or Crash Diet, because actually Eclipse and Crash Diet are so good bands that to be honest, they deserve a bigger spot, because the songs they make are so. I think they are deserving more space in the metal community in the world. As well as some other foreign bands, and I think that Sweden Rock will also book some cheap classic bands like, for example, Anvil, Angel Witch, for example. But so I hope for some really big bands and a lot of small bands that you can discover. There is a lot. For example, tonight, the I think American band Coven.
Okay.
Yeah, Coven with the female singer.
Yeah, Jeremy spoke to the singer not too long ago, right? They're British, aren't they?
Kind of a devil worship band.
Again? Say that again.
Coven.
Yeah.
Coven. I've not spoken to anyone.
Coven. Coven.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm mixing that up. I thought when you did your patrons pick that Coven was one of them, but I'm.
No, that was Cloven Hoof.
Cloven Hoof.
Yeah.
All right. Wrong doom metal band with a female singer.
Yeah, Cloven Hoof's good. Thanks, Jeremy, for that tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play 30 kilometers from my house tonight. So I don't know if you heard of it, but this is a small, very a festival called Muskelrock, Muscle Rock, if you translate it directly. It always happens a week before Sweden Rock, and they book small bands like, Angel Witch or the Canadian Viking rocker Thor,
right?
If you remember.
Yep.
Bands like that, old cult bands, combined with new bands that sounds like the bands did before. For example, the Swedish band Wolf.
Right.
And they have started this metal community, and they book bands and they play. It's a good live community, just close to me. Because but I'm 50, so I'm sitting here in my kitchen. But younger people who like metal, I think, are there now. Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, that's that's what it is. Did you even?
How about Manimal?
How about who, Brad?
Manimal. The guy, the singer you talked to, interviewed last year. Manimal.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah. Did they ever play? I know. There you go. I mean, I really like them a lot. But I know I don't know whether they get much love there in their home country.
they've been doing shows because I've seen on social media that they've been posting
Okay.
pictures and videos of shows. I don't know how recent they've been, but yeah, they have been posting stuff recently.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great rock bands in Sweden. You think you could fill out a whole day there with a lot of the good bands that are there. So
Yeah, well, a band that some of you guys started um, catching on to with their covers, Sorcerer, who I interviewed them. I interviewed the one guitarist, I guess at this point, going on a year or two. It's probably closer to 2 years ago. But I saw that they're recording new music. So that should be really good.
Yeah.
Another thing on this impressive list here is tomorrow is the whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing. Judas Priest, KK Downing, Les Binks, all playing with Priest tomorrow.
no,
Yeah,
really,
they're doing 3 songs, and KK and Les Binks are gonna be on stage. There's gonna be 3 guitarists, and Les is gonna play one of the 3 songs with them.
Who's broadcasting that? Is it HBO?
HBO, but I think that's going to be one of these things where they edit that and release it later on.
Okay.
But
yeah, I'd like to see that.
Ed, what are your thoughts on Priest with KK and Les Binks, and will they do anything outside of Breaking the Law, Living After Midnight, and You've Got Another Thing Coming? Will they swerve us and play something different to incorporate, maybe a little bit more of Les Binks's era?
Probably not. They'll probably play it safe, I would imagine. Yeah. Do what everybody knows how to do easily.
Yeah.
I don't know if Les has played any of those songs.
Hold on, Brad. What was that, Ed?
Do you know how you watch that? Will it be broadcast somewhere?
Yeah, I think HBO is going to be the one broadcasting it, but it's not going to be live. It's going to be like in a month or two. They edit the show and then they release it usually a month or two after the actual performance. I don't know if they'll release anything on YouTube or if we'll start to see stuff posted to band social media or not, but I don't know. Do you guys think that this will signal KK doing more with the band, or do you guys think that bridge has been burned so much that there's no way that he's coming back? Brad is saying no.
No to the first question, yes to the second question.
Okay.
Or second. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Jeremy, do you think no way that KK comes back at this point?
I think there's a possibility. I thought that he wouldn't, and I would have, if you'd have asked me that 6 months ago, I would have probably said a third. I just think there's a little bit of an opportunity. I think KK doesn't really want to pursue his own KK to want to produce another album. I think he always wanted to get back in the band, and he still mentioned that many times, and he's been a bit annoyed that they've not asked him, and then they've letters that he sent, and there's obviously bad blood somewhere between him and the management and what have you. About 2 or 3 members of the band, and obviously not Glenn, but Glenn's not really in the band. He's just maybe writing songs. They're releasing a new album, and we know also we don't know whether he'll be able to continue forever because he's had 2 operations now on his. We don't know, what the long-term outlook is for him really, because so there is a possibility, I think, now that he might, and I think we've seen this with other bands, haven't we, in the past, where we thought it's never going to happen, and in some ways I quite like it. In other ways, I'm not sure, because I'm not. Now I want to watch them as a live act. I just want to hear the new music that they produce. But we'll wait and see. I mean, let's see what happens when they all they're all on stage together.
So here's one thing to consider. Firepower at this point came out in 2018. They've been talking about this new album for 2 years now. The whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing happened earlier this year. Is it possible that the reason that they haven't done more with that album is because, in fact, KK is on that album and they're just waiting for all of this to go down before announcing it? Johan, do you think that there's a chance that KK goes back? Do you think we hear him on a new Judas Priest album?
Yes, I think it's a chance. Because, money is money. So, yeah, it could happen. Absolutely.
That's a good point. Does KK being in the band get them more money from promoters? Because that's now three out of 5 original members.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think that if KK, at least in Europe, if he's in a band, it would give them a lot more credibility it would be a bigger crowd on the biggest stage at Sweden Rock if KK were in the band. That's my opinion, but I don't know if I'm wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, they'd also be a bigger thing in the UK as well, because obviously we know them as Glenn. See, Glenn's just coming on for the odd song now at the end, but with KK back in the band, I think different thing than just having Sneap in there.
Yeah, Antoni just brought up a good point. Andy Sneap's wage versus KK's wage. If KK comes back, is it as an employee where he has no say, or does he come back as a full-fledged member just like before? Ed, what do you think?
Yeah, but you have to.
I think he'd probably be a hired gun this time. I think that's the way it usually turns out with every band.
Right.
That goes through that, isn't it?
Yeah, and also that would probably be a way of them to be able to control the narrative as well. They'd be able to, clamp down on his comments and stuff like that, where obviously if he's not in the band, and I would imagine if things don't work out now, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame goes down, they decide to not move ahead with him in any way, shape, or form. I'm thinking if the shit didn't already hit the fan, it's going to definitely hit it now, because I think there's going to be so many expectations from him, from maybe fans, that we may see things get ugly. If he's brought back, he's brought in as an employee, again, they can use all that against him. Say, hey, what were you doing without us? You weren't touring. You weren't playing, you weren't playing big festivals like us. You weren't, So there's a lot of things that I think they could, there are various carrots they could use to kind of bring him back and kind of keep him in check as well.
But by the way, KK Downing is Priest's company. He's not just a hired gun. If he comes back, he kept shares, I think, of Judas Priest, and he's on their sort of board. He's earning money from Judas Priest in some format. So he's got like interest in the band as well.
Yeah. So that again, but that would be kind of a first, because I think Ed's right. Most of the time when this happens, the person that comes back never has that same pull they had beforehand. They're always brought back as an employee, hey, you left, we're still here. There's very few bands that have, relinquished. Maybe Iron Maiden is among the only ones that have done it with Bruce and with Adrian, but because Maiden has enough money and enough pull and is big enough crowd that it really didn't matter. And also they were coming off of some pretty lean years. So giving up a little control like what Steve Harris did at that point played in his favor. So
the other big problem is that Richie was a replacement for K. You bring in KK and you got Richie, you got like two guys who look the same and act the same, kind of the same parts as well. So they'll have to decide what they're playing between them. But that's the problem.
I don't think that'll be a problem though, because I think Richie's enough of a pro that I mean, I don't think because remember they were rumoring that they were going to go out as a 4-piece, and Richie was already saying that he was rewriting some of the songs so that he could cover both parts, that he could cover both Glenn and KK's parts. So I don't think ultimately that would be an issue with them.
Yeah, and he's never dissed KK in public either. He's always like him, so I think that would be a good thing as well. Yeah.
Well, I think he's a smart person. He's worked with the Iron Maiden camp first, then he went over to the Priest camp. So I mean, it's not as if he's new to. He's almost like Judas Priest, Bruce Kulick. He's a hired gun, but he's a guy that's been in other big money situations. He's kind of been quiet and known what to do along the way. So
the big issue on Rob Halford can go on for, really.
Yeah, but I think as much as I've brought up things with Rob in the past, I don't think Rob is at the point where he's like a Vince Neil or he's like a Phil Anselmo or someone like that who's, yes, his voice isn't as strong as what it was before, but his voice isn't completely shot, So I think that's kind of a different situation. It's unfortunate that it's not what, we all know it to be, but again, like we were talking about before, how old is Rob? He's probably in his late 60s at this point. So, I mean, he's given us many, many years of joy. So I don't know that that there's really, sure, can we nitpick his voice? Of course. But I mean, Priest in comparison to Motley Crue, can you look at Priest and say, this guy obviously is the one that ruins the show for me? I think Priest still puts on a fairly decent show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Osborne next year, and I think, to be honest, Priest are better.
I think they not only have they put out more albums, but I think they've put out better albums as well. So, another thing that Jeremy listed on this bunch of questions here that he sent along, 2 Christmas related things. 1, Christmas songs. Are you into them? And 2, do you have something on your Christmas list that's music related? Ed, are you into Christmas music? And do you have anything specific that you're looking forward to maybe getting for Christmas?
I'm not ready to listen to it yet, but probably after Thanksgiving, I've got my collection of metal Christmas music. My favorite thing that I've been listening to for a few years now is that August Burns Red.
Right.
It's about 10 or 12 tracks instrumental, but they're awesome musicians, and they make all those songs real heavy too.
Yeah.
And it's probably the best stuff that I've heard. I do like Halford CDs. He's got 2 Christmas CDs that are good.
Right.
And then, I got a few other things. I like to crack out the Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Little Drummer Boy, stuff like that. The Kinks,
right.
Father Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got nice playlist for every time December rolls around.
Are you expecting to receive any music related items this year?
I keep an Amazon list, with public viewing. Anybody can see it and buy me whatever you'd like and send it right along. Throughout the year, unless it's something I have to have right away, I put it on that list so that I'll at least remember. And then, of course, when the wife and daughter are asking me what in the world to get me, I make it easy for them. Or they'll go to the record store, and we got 2 record stores here I can visit, and they can get me gift certificates from there. So, I'm ready to add to my collection. I've been spending the year putting most of my stuff onto Discogs so that I'll have a value that I can give to the insurance company. And so I've been having a lot of fun, digging into all the different plants that all my records come from and CDs come from. And I'm ready to add to it.
I wonder how accurate they are, because on Discogs it says that my collection is anywhere from $6,000 to $30,000.
You got to kind of go with that median, low to median value. That's right.
It seems kind of out there, because whenever you try to sell something, you're never getting top dollar.
No. For me, it's going to be to give to the insurance company in case I ever had a fire. I'll get that back, because I put a lot of money into my music over the years.
Absolutely. Johan, what about you? Are you into Christmas music? And do you have any type of music related thing that you'd like to get for Christmas this year?
I love Christmas music. I love Christmas, but as metal, I heard from Rob Halford's album called Celestial. How do you pronounce it? Celestial?
Yes.
A song called Donner and Blitzen. I like that one.
Okay.
Is that a classic one?
Yeah, that's one that gets played in the US. Yeah.
Not here. That's a good song. But I don't know. I like, if I can get a good hard rock or metal biography as a book for Christmas gift, I'm very happy. So that's good.
Okay. Brad, how about you?
Great question. I don't know if you know, but I've been involved in this Christmas rock production did 10 years of it, and it was killed for COVID. Well, actually it was killed after year 10. But COVID, they talked about bringing it back last year and wasn't able to work it out, but they're bringing it back this year. And guess who's not going to be here? Me. So, but when I was first asked to do that, I thought, I don't know, this sounds awful. I mean, Christmas rock music, I don't know. I like classic Christmas music, but I got to say, after doing it, I had a blast, had a lot of fun. And so, but I won't be listening to it.
And anything you'd like to get for Christmas that's music related?
I would like to be able to hang out with all of you guys. That's all I'd want to do.
There you go.
That's my Christmas wish. So far I've checked this box over here. Wait, over here, this box, So now that's it. I got close to Jeremy. I flew over his house on the way home, but I can probably get to Kentucky pretty easy. But Sweden is definitely on my to-do list for next year. So but that's all. I mean, I have everything I could possibly want, and so I don't need presents. I just need to hang out with people. That's what I need. That's my Christmas wish.
I was expecting you to say another bass, but we'll take your answer.
I've got I need to get more room on my wall to hang them up before I can add more. So no new basses for a while.
Okay.
But I'd like to play more bass. That's for sure.
There you go.
So So hopefully, who knows? Maybe Victor will ask me to play some more bass for him.
There you go. Jeremy, how about you?
You can't ever get away from Slade and Wizard here in the UK because they get played every single year. So earning all that money from that song that he did, you know, we'd all be extremely well met. But my favourites are, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go fairly main. It's the Rod Stewart Christmas album, which my wife is a massive Rod Stewart fan. We go and see him, got into it, and we play it on Christmas Day with it in the background while we're eating dinner with all the family. And then my favourite rock one is there's a song by Magnum called On Christmas Day. Which album it's on? It's quite a few albums back now, probably about 6 or 7, maybe 8 albums. Good song though. They released it as a single as well more recently, so well worth a listen. And that's about it on the Christmas music side. I mean, I like all the usual stuff that you hear on the YouTube or on the other time. But in terms of presents, well, I've got a few. I was a bit like Ed, and then at the moment I've just got 3 that I'd like to get. I'm Screaming for Vengeance on a picture disc because I haven't got that picture disc, and I've got the like to get that. I'm really into the latest or the very last Motor, and I haven't got a copy of that, and I'd like that on picture disc as well. And the Queensryche album, but the problem with that is I've been playing a sort of heavy metal version of Bjorn to choose between the CD or the vinyl, and because I can't choose, I've never bought. Need somebody else to buy it for me, so I'm going to ask a family member if they just buy me a version of it without listening to it on Spotify or whatever, and keep a hold of it.
Well, what was your second option, Jeremy? Because it cut out when you said the band name.
Oh, right. So that was Motorhead's.
Okay.
And that's also on a picture disc, yeah.
Okay. So consider this. I think Rebel Yell isn't on the vinyl, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're right.
So, yeah, I don't, being someone that's worked in department stores as a teenager, worked at the local mall, and as soon as the summer was over, you started to hear Christmas music, and then the closer you got to Christmas, you started to hear more Christmas music. It would drive me crazy. So I've never really been a huge fan of Christmas music. That said, we did a Patron Christmas list last year, and I like a lot of that stuff. So, and for Christmas last year, when we sat down to eat and have dinner, we played that playlist quite a bit. So, so I would imagine doing that. As far as a music-related Christmas gift, I would love to get that Creatures of the Night box set, but just out of the price range at the moment. So we can keep our fingers crossed that we win the Christmas lottery maybe here, and maybe we can make that happen. But outside of that, I don't foresee it happening anytime soon. All right, so the last topic I want to touch upon today, the importance of tribute bands. Jeremy, you brought the subject up. So what do you think the importance of a tribute band is?
The reason why I brought it up, I'm actually going to go and see a couple of tribute bands next Friday night, and they are a Kiss Cooper one, and obviously Kiss are coming to the end of their career, and so really the only chance you're going to get to see Kiss, particularly in the UK now, and I've obviously seen the real band before. There's a lot of bands now that you can see as a tribute act, which are no longer tribute bands. There are Motorhead tribute bands, and the list goes on and on. You can name. And I used to be quite dismissive of a tribute band, because I was always into the real act, and I used to think that they were, second-class copies of what. Then I saw an Oasis tribute act, which was so perfect in its sound and its delivery, and managed to get the atmosphere right. I almost felt, you could close at an Oasis gig, and then I saw an AC/DC one. In fact, they're coming so good. They have two singers, and one does Bon Scott, and one does again, you shut your eyes, you're at an AC/DC gig, and they seem to be always sold out, and they're selling out where some of the real bands, small bands, are not really. So I think they play a very, very important role in keeping alive the sounds and the concerts that we used to go to, and I think they will increasingly play an important in the future.
Yeah, I've played in a Misfits tribute band, as you guys know. The biggest knock, similar to what you said, Jeremy, a lot of people would say, "Oh, well, you're not playing your own music and you're destroying live settings for original bands." To me, it was just a lot of fun to do, to play these songs and just go out and see people enjoying hearing these songs live. As you're saying, at that time, the Misfits hadn't gotten back together again. So for a lot of people, that was as close as what it was going to get. That being said, with the price of tickets nowadays, and with certain bands not touring, Anthony Mackie talks about bands not playing in Ireland all the time. So if you're in a country where a certain band doesn't play, or if you're in a state where you have to drive 12 hours to go see a show, and there's a tribute band coming 20 minutes away from your house, I got no problem with people checking that out instead. People just want to have fun, go out, have a good time, and disconnect from their normal everyday life. And if people want to play that stuff, why not? Brad, you've played covers in a lot of different bands over the years. What's your take on the importance of tribute bands?
Yeah, I was actually in a Social Distortion tribute band for a minute. 99 to Life is what we were called. Yeah. Yeah, 99 to Life. And we only actually did one gig, and then the thing kind of blew up. But yeah, it was fun, and people loved it. And here's the thing: I'm kind of on both sides of the fence here. I'd like to see more original bands playing, but I get it that people want to hear songs they know, or from bands they know, and the tribute thing is just, it's huge. It's huge over here. There's a place in Dallas that I get emails from all the time, I went there once, and anyway, they're like, they'll have 3 tribute bands a night.
Right.
Like, holy crap, how many tribute bands do you have down there in Dallas? Obviously plenty. I don't know whether some of these are touring bands or whatever, but it's huge business. I mean, the Pink Floyd tribute bands that are out there, they'll come here and they'll play an arena.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And then you get a what I call a real band, and they can barely get into a club here.
Right.
So I get it. People want to hear the songs, and I think we're a little bit different because we're more into the people in the band than just the songs. But I don't know. I'm on both sides of it. I think it's cool. If somebody wants me to be in their tribute band, hey, give me a call.
There you go. Johan, what do you think of the whole tribute band thing?
Well, I have friends who had a Ramones tribute band a couple of years ago, and with they had wigs and the whole stage clothing and all. And they played the Ramones' first live double LP, It's Alive. Always. And I mean, they were playing shows all over south of Sweden. They even played in Stockholm. So, and they spread the word of the Ramones. So, yeah, That's what it is. It's a good thing. I mean, if you know, I mean, not many people get to see Ramones or Ozzy or Maiden.
Mhm.
I mean, normal people don't go to Gothenburg on a Thursday night. So I think it's a good thing. It's spread the word. It's good.
Okay,
It's
Brad,
fun.
what did you?
Yeah, I have a question for everybody here. Do you feel like a tribute band has to look like the original band, or can it just be guys looking like they that it's more about the music, or is the appearance a really big part of it?
Well,
Go ahead.
if it's a tribute band, then I would say yes. They need to try to at least come close to the part. If it's a cover band or they're doing stuff from a lot of different artists, then I think that's a different story. But if, as Johan mentioned, if it's a tribute band for the Ramones, yeah, I'd expect them to have, the leather jackets and the Chuck Taylors and the jeans and and the haircuts like Joey and Johnny and stuff like that. I think if you show up and they're not doing that, I mean, with the Misfits band that I'm in, we all either paint our faces or the bass player usually wears a mask of the Crimson Ghost, which is usually the image that everyone is most familiar with. That's related to the Misfits. Only time that they didn't do that was when I was out of the band and the guitarist decided that he was going to dress up like the Incredible Hulk, but not sure what he was on. And that's part of the reason why I left the band. But anyway, Ed, what do you think the importance of a tribute band is?
Before I answer, I'd like you to post a picture of you with that Misfits makeup on later tonight on Facebook for us all to see, please.
There's a picture that I posted not too long ago of me playing with them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I've recently posted a picture of an awards gala that I played at. See, the thing is, I couldn't wear the makeup because it would run into my eyes while I was playing.
Yeah, I bet.
So most of the time, I would just try to do the devil horn, as it's called, and then about halfway through the set, that would be annoying me. So I'd have to just I'd undo that and just pull everything back.
Yeah. Anyway, tribute bands are just, I see it as something fun to do, and I'm all about people having fun. It's definitely something that's only makes sense in a live setting.
Mm-hmm.
And as with anything else, it would just depend on, how good the actors are. And in this case, it would depend on both your acting and musical chops.
Right.
If you're good and you can entertain me and help me have a good time, then I'm all for it.
Right.
Not that they're extremely important, but yeah, they do, especially for tribute bands that might, like you said, the Ramones doing something for bands that we're never going to hear again.
Mm-hmm.
That you see that happen. We have a radio show that here called Wood Songs that's broadcast all over the world. And, you have a lot of artists that'll come through that are tributes to artists and bands from, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And that's helping people in my day get have exposure to that music. And, hear the history of a lot of stuff that we normally wouldn't have heard.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's cool. I mean, to me, that's exactly it. I think there's a lot of different reasons why tribute bands need to exist. I get it if you're an original band and you've got 3 people that show up to your show and, the next pub over, there's a tribute band and they've got 200 people there. I mean, yeah, I get it. That stings. But at the same time, man, good music is good music, and I think it's important to keep it alive one way or the other. And again, if you're if you're in North Dakota and no bands are coming remotely close to you, and the closest thing to seeing Alice Cooper or Kiss or Ramones or Metallica is a tribute band for any of these, and why not? You know, there's too many things that I think we've seen in hard rock and metal over the last decade or two, with people trying to, set rules on everything, where I don't think it was like that, when we first fell in love with this music, that, oh, no, this isn't right because it isn't this, that isn't right. It kills me, the whole argument with, oh, you can't wear your own merch. Tell Steve Harris that, tell Steve Harris he can't wear an Iron Maiden shirt on, on stage. If the band isn't wearing their own shit, it means what? They don't believe in what they're trying to sell? Or maybe it comes down to, as I've been told, the band not being able to afford to wear their own stuff, so they need to sell everything. Well, that's a different story. But at the same time, pushing it on other people, oh, well, that's not the cool thing to do. Or you shouldn't go to a show and wear the t-shirt of the band that you're going to see. Since when? That doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, too many rules. Just enjoy the music, folks. I think that's the most important thing. So, anything else someone wants to mention before we wrap things up here?
Sorry.
Yeah, see, editing, everyone at the Jeff Beck show had a Jeff Beck shirt on. See?
The band I was talking about wasn't Covent, it was Coven.
Coven. Okay. Yeah. I understood anyway, the band that you meant.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah.
So,
then I'm good.
I got them mixed up with Cloven Hoof. So anyway, on that note, I want to thank Jeremy for not only being here, but providing such a wonderful list of items to go over today. Surely saved the day, as Ed did a few weeks ago, showing up when I thought I was going to be talking to myself. So thank you, Ed, for coming back once again. Brad, and she almost said Molly again.
That's Maggie.
Maggie, there you go.
Yeah.
Brad and Maggie and Johan. So we are all over the world once again, between the UK, Kentucky, Utah, and Sweden. So thanks all you guys for being here tonight. Thanks anyone who's watching or listening to the replay. Thank you to Antoni, who was in the chat. And I was going to say there was somebody else in the chat. Oh, yeah, that was Jeremy. So he's here anyway. But anyway, folks, a lot of interviews coming your way. Be on the lookout for, like I mentioned, later tonight, we'll be debuting the interview with Timmy Ruff from the New Roses. Interviews with Rick Hughes from Sword to be released shortly as well. And being that I goofed, on Monday I will be speaking to Skylar from He Is Legend. So that will be released hopefully in the next few weeks as well. On that note, thanks everyone once again, and we'll see you next time right here on Signals from Mars. See you, folks.
Thank you for watching the Signals from Mars live stream. You can watch the show live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, or check out replays on YouTube. Go to signalsfrommars.com for more information. This concludes our show.